Have you ever wondered what happens when someone truly misses you? Does their world shift subtly, or do they feel a profound emptiness that compels them to act in ways they never imagined? Absence has a unique way of unveiling emotions often hidden beneath the surface, and it's in the space you leave behind that others are forced to confront the significance of your presence. What if I told you that the way someone behaves when they miss you can speak louder than words ever could? Think about this. We often take for granted the connections we have with others until they're no longer there. Suddenly, the laughter shared, the moments of comfort, and the everyday presence become irreplaceable. This is where the philosophy of Stoicism steps in. It teaches us the value of self-control, self-worth, and understanding human nature. By stepping back and allowing someone to feel the weight of your absence, you provide them the opportunity to realize your true value. Today, we'll explore 11 telltale signs that someone misses you, rooted in the principles of human nature and enhanced by Stoic wisdom. Each behavior reflects a piece of the puzzle, proof that your absence has left a mark. And while the journey is fascinating from the start, trust me, the final signs we'll discuss are absolute revelations. Stick with me until the end. You won't want to miss the insights that could transform the way you view your relationships forever. Now, let's dive into the first unmistakable sign. When someone misses you, they express regret. 1. They express regret. Regret is one of the most profound emotions that someone can experience when they miss you. Why? Because it forces them to look inward and reflect on what went wrong. Think about the moments in your own life when you've realized the depth of a connection only after it was gone. Did you find yourself wishing you'd done things differently? Did the weight of those thoughts push you to acknowledge your mistakes? If so, you've touched on the very essence of regret. When someone misses you, they often begin replaying past interactions, conversations, and decisions. They might find themselves thinking, I should have been more patient, or I wish I had appreciated them more. These thoughts aren't just fleeting, they're rooted in a growing awareness that they may have taken your presence for granted. Where suddenly, all the little things they brushed aside, your kindness, your understanding, your unique ability to make them feel seen, become glaringly significant. Have you ever received an unexpected message from someone saying, I've been thinking about how I acted, and I regret it? That message isn't just an apology, it's a sign that your absence has left an emotional void they can't ignore. Regret is the mind's way of saying, I didn't value what I had until it was gone. In the context of Stoicism, regret serves as a mirror, forcing us to confront our past actions and learn from them. But here's the key. Regret often sparks change. When someone misses you deeply, their regret doesn't just linger in their thoughts, it drives them to act. They may apologize, reach out, or even start working on themselves in hopes of becoming someone who deserves your presence again. This is where Stoicism shines. As Epictetus reminds us, we are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them. Their regret isn't just about the loss of your presence, it's about the realization of their own shortcomings. Let's consider a common scenario. Imagine someone scrolling through old messages or photos, replaying memories of you in their mind. With each moment they recall, they're reminded of the value you brought into their life. That laughter you shared, that encouragement you offered, it's all painted in vivid detail against the backdrop of your absence. The more they reflect, the deeper their regret becomes, and the more they realize they've lost something truly irreplaceable. But regret isn't always verbalized outright. Sometimes it manifests in subtle ways. They might start liking your old social media posts or commenting on something you shared long ago. These small actions are their way of testing the waters, of saying, I'm thinking about you, but I don't know if I can say it out loud. Have you noticed this happening in your own life? If so, consider the silent message behind these gestures. This brings us to an important question. How should you respond when someone expresses regret? Should you rush to mend a relationship, or should you hold your ground? Stoicism teaches us the importance of maintaining self-respect and emotional balance. Just as their regret is an opportunity for reflection, it's also a chance for you to evaluate what you truly want. Does their regret align with genuine change, or is it merely an acknowledgement of loss? And while regret is a powerful sign of how much they miss you, it's just the beginning. There are 10 more behaviors that delve even deeper into the heart of their longing. The next one reveals how missing you often inspires a surprising journey of self-improvement. Let's uncover what happens when they begin to transform themselves because of your absence. 2. They make an effort to improve themselves. When someone truly misses you, they don't just dwell on regret, they often take it a step further. They reflect on who they were when they were with you, and more importantly, who they could have been. This reflection becomes a catalyst for change. Missing you pushes them to embark on a journey of self-improvement, as if by growing into a better version of themselves, they might find a way back into your world. Think about it. Have you ever noticed someone who, after a breakup or separation, suddenly starts going to the gym, picking up new hobbies or learning skills they never cared about before? At first glance, it might seem like they're simply moving on, but dig deeper, and you'll find their transformation is often rooted in a desire to match the value you brought into their life. They miss you, and in their mind, improving themselves is a way of proving they're worthy of your attention once more. This isn't a small effort. Self-improvement requires dedication, especially when it's driven by emotional motivation. Suddenly, they're reading books about personal growth, exploring Stoicism, or trying to overcome habits that once strained your relationship. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That's exactly what they're attempting to do, to live up to the standard they believe you deserve. Let me ask you this. If someone from your past suddenly started glowing up, exercising more, dressing better, developing new skills, would you see it as a coincidence? Probably not. It's likely a silent message, a way of saying, look at me. I'm becoming someone you could admire again. But does this transformation hold deeper meaning, or is it only a surface-level change? Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-mastery, of becoming a better person not for validation but for one's own inner growth. The difference between genuine self-improvement and performative actions lies in their motivation. If their efforts to improve themselves stem from a desire to win you back, it's important to recognize whether these changes are sustainable. Are they doing it because they truly want to grow, or because they see it as a shortcut to rekindling the connection? Imagine this scenario. Someone you once cared for suddenly starts sharing updates about their life. Photos of them learning a new skill, completing a marathon, or practicing mindfulness. On the surface, it seems like they're thriving without you. But beneath it all, these actions might be deeply tied to the impact you had on their life. You inspired them to grow, even in your absence. Now here's the twist. This transformation isn't just about them. It's also a reflection of you. Your presence and your absence have left a mark so profound that it's motivated someone else to change for the better. In many ways, you become a mirror, showing them both their potential and their shortcomings. This is the power of absence. It forces us to confront the truth about ourselves. So how should you respond if you notice someone making an effort to improve themselves after you stepped back? Should you acknowledge their growth, or should you remain distant? Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, our own actions and reactions. While it's heartening to see someone evolve, it's equally important to evaluate whether their transformation aligns with your values and the foundation of your relationship. Do their actions reflect genuine growth, or are they merely a way to get your attention? As you reflect on this, consider sharing your thoughts below. Have you ever experienced this? Someone changing dramatically after missing you? How did it make you feel? Drop a comment with the phrase "growth through absence" if this resonates with you. And if this insight into human behavior is sparking something within you, give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us dive deeper into Stoic principles and the fascinating dynamics of relationships. But this journey of understanding doesn't stop here. If self-improvement is a reflection of their longing, what comes next reveals their deepest emotional need. Stay with me as we explore how missing you pushes them to reach out more frequently, even when they don't fully understand why. 3. They reach out more frequently. When someone misses you, one of the clearest signs is their increasing need to reach out. At first, it might seem casual, a quick message asking how you're doing or a comment on something you posted. But over time, the frequency grows and what may have started as friendly check-ins becomes a steady stream of communication. Why does this happen? Because your absence has left a void and reaching out is their way of filling it. Imagine this. They're going about their day and suddenly a thought of you crosses their mind. Maybe it's triggered by a song you both loved, a place you visited together, or simply the quiet moments that now feel a little emptier without you. That thought becomes a spark, compelling them to bridge the emotional distance your absence has created. But here's the interesting part. This behavior often comes from a subconscious place. They might tell themselves they're just checking in, but in reality, each message, each call is an attempt to reconnect with the comfort and connection your presence once brought into their life. It's like a lifeline, a way to feel closer to you, even if just for a moment. Epictetus reminds us we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. When someone misses you, they don't just reach out more, they become more engaged in the conversation. They ask more questions, show greater interest in your life, and listen intently to what you have to say. It's not just about talking, it's about reestablishing the bond they fear losing. Have you noticed someone doing this in your own life? Perhaps their messages have taken on a different tone, less casual, more thoughtful. Or maybe they've started sharing little details about their day, as if to invite you back into their world. These are subtle but telling signs of their longing. Even their humor can reveal their feelings. They might send you a meme that reminds them of an inside joke you shared or bring up a random memory just to keep the conversation going. These seemingly lighthearted interactions are often rooted in a deeper desire to reconnect. They're saying, "I miss the way we used to laugh together." However, Stoicism teaches us to approach these situations with clarity and balance. While it's flattering to have someone reaching out, it's essential to ask yourself, what do I want from this connection? Are they reaching out because they genuinely value the relationship, or are they struggling to cope with the absence? Your response should align with your own boundaries and emotional well-being. When someone starts reaching out more frequently, it's not just about the act of communication, it's about their realization of your importance. It's a sign that they're beginning to understand the value of what they had. And while it's tempting to immediately respond to every message, sometimes maintaining a bit of distance reinforces the lesson that your time and attention are precious. This brings us to another key behavior they exhibit when they miss you, reminiscing about the past. Let's explore how their longing for what once was drives them to relive those cherished moments. 4. They reminisce about the past. That when someone misses you, their mind often turns to the past, revisiting memories that bring both warmth and a bittersweet sense of longing. Nostalgia becomes their constant companion, pulling them back to moments they shared with you, moments that now feel irreplaceable. Why do we do this? Because the past offers comfort, especially when the present feels marked by absence. Picture this. They're scrolling through their phone and stumble upon a photo of you together. Maybe it's from a trip, a celebration, or just an ordinary day made extraordinary by your presence. And instantly they're transported back to that moment, reliving the laughter, the connection, and the joy. It's like watching the highlight reel of their happiest memories with you as the star. But reminiscing isn't just about revisiting the past, it's also about realizing what's missing in the present. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. When someone reminisces about you, it's because their want for your presence has grown into something they can't ignore. The memories they once took for granted now feel priceless. Such act of remembering often leads them to subtle actions that reveal their longing. They might send you a message saying, "Hey, remember when we did this?" or share an old photo with the caption "good times." These gestures aren't just about the memories themselves, they're about testing whether you feel the same sense of nostalgia. It's their way of saying, "Do you miss this as much as I do?" It is small, seemingly insignificant things can trigger their reminiscing. A song that played during a special moment, a place you used to visit together, or even a random joke can suddenly take on a new meaning. And with each memory, their longing for you grows stronger. But this reminiscing isn't always shared. Sometimes it happens quietly, as they replay conversations in their mind or revisit places where they felt closest to you. These private moments of reflection are often the most telling. They reveal how deeply your presence has imprinted on their life. Stoicism teaches us to appreciate the present and not cling too tightly to the past, but it also reminds us of the importance of reflecting on what truly matters. When someone reminisces about you, it's a sign that they've recognized the value of the time you shared. It's a moment of clarity where they see what they've lost and yearn to have it back. As they dwell on these memories, the next step often becomes inevitable. They seek ways to close the gap between the past and the present. And that's where vulnerability begins to surface, a topic we'll uncover in the next behavior they exhibit when they miss you. 5. They appear more emotionally vulnerable. When someone misses you deeply, the emotional armor they once wore often starts to crack. Vulnerability begins to seep through, revealing feelings they might have hidden before. It's as though your absence has unlocked a part of them they've kept guarded, and now, in their longing, they find themselves reaching out in ways they never expected. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's a raw, unfiltered acknowledgement of their emotions. Have you noticed someone who once seemed composed and distant suddenly opening up? Maybe it's late-night messages confessing how much they've been thinking about you. Or perhaps it's an unexpected song they share, one that speaks volumes about what they can't put into words. Why does this happen? Because when we miss someone, we become more in tune with what we feel, even if it's uncomfortable to admit. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." For someone who misses you, their thoughts are now focused on you. This shift creates an emotional landscape where they feel compelled to share what's on their mind, even if it makes them feel exposed. Vulnerability often reveals itself in subtle ways. Have they started sharing more about their struggles or insecurities? Do their messages carry a tone of reflection or longing? These are signs that they're grappling with the emotional impact of your absence. It's no longer just about missing your presence, it's about needing the comfort and connection you once provided. Think about the strength it takes to show vulnerability. For someone who's always appeared strong or indifferent, admitting their emotions can be incredibly challenging. Yet when they miss you, the walls they've built start to crumble. You might notice them reminiscing about the past, expressing regret, or simply saying things like, "I've been thinking about us a lot lately." Here's the fascinating part. Vulnerability often leads to growth. In opening up, they're not just trying to connect with you, they're also exploring their own emotional depths. Stoicism teaches us to embrace what we can't control, and for them, this might mean coming to terms with how much they care about you. As they let their guard down, they're also learning more about themselves. But how should you respond when someone becomes emotionally vulnerable? Should you offer reassurance, or should you maintain the distance that created this longing in the first place? This depends on your boundaries and what you want from the connection. Vulnerability is a gift, but it's also a responsibility. Stoicism reminds us to act with intention and balance, considering not just their emotions but also our own. Let me ask you, have you ever been on the receiving end of someone's emotional vulnerability? How did it make you feel? Were you tempted to comfort them, or did it feel overwhelming? Share your experiences in the comments below with the phrase "embracing vulnerability." Your insights might resonate with others who are navigating similar situations. And if this perspective on vulnerability resonates with you, give this video a thumbs up. It helps us reach more people who can benefit from these Stoic insights into relationships. 6. They become more curious about your life. When someone misses you, their curiosity about your life intensifies. It's as though your absence has created a gap in their understanding of your world, and they're eager to fill it. This curiosity isn't just casual interest, it's driven by a deep-seated desire to reconnect and feel included in the life you're now living without them. Imagine this: you've been focusing on yourself, exploring new hobbies, or achieving personal milestones. Suddenly, you notice they're the first to like your posts or leave comments asking about what you've been up to. They might ask mutual friends about you or send messages out of the blue with questions that seem innocent enough, like how's everything going? But these aren't just polite inquiries, they're attempts to bridge the emotional gap that your absence has created. To Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. For someone who misses you, their thoughts are now painted with the color of curiosity about your life. They're wondering if you've moved on, found new connections, or discovered new joys. In a way, this curiosity is a reflection of their longing. It's their way of staying tethered to you. This behavior often manifests in subtle yet telling ways. They might ask questions they've never asked before, showing an interest in the details of your daily routine or future plans. Or they may suddenly engage with your social media more actively, liking old posts or watching your stories as soon as they're up. These small acts reveal their inner desire to feel connected, even if only from a distance. What's driving this curiosity? At its core, it's fear of being forgotten, fear of losing their place in your life, and fear of seeing you thrive without them. They want to know if the door to your connection is still open, or if it's been closed for good. This fear, combined with their longing, fuels their need to stay informed about your life. While their curiosity might feel flattering, Stoicism teaches us to view it through a balanced lens. Their actions reflect their emotions, but it's important to recognize whether their interest is genuine or merely a reaction to their own insecurities. Are they truly interested in your growth and happiness, or are they seeking reassurance for themselves? This growing curiosity often leads to action. When their questions and observations aren't enough to satisfy their longing, they might take the next step, reaching out to make plans. Let's explore what it means when someone actively seeks to see you again. 7. They make plans to see you. When someone misses you deeply, their longing often transforms into action. It's no longer enough for them to think about you or observe your life from a distance. They feel compelled to bridge the gap by seeing you in person. Making plans becomes their way of reconnecting, of closing the emotional distance your absence has created. Picture this. You receive a text out of nowhere. It's been too long, we should catch up. At first glance, it might seem like a casual suggestion, but the timing is no coincidence. They've been feeling the weight of your absence, and the need to see you has grown too strong to ignore. This isn't just about having coffee or catching up. It's about reestablishing the bond they've been missing. Seneca once said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Their attempt to make plans is their way of starting fresh, of rekindling the connection that's been fading since you've been apart. Whether it's an invitation to revisit a favorite spot you once shared or an offer to join them in trying something new, these plans are rooted in their desire to recreate the closeness they've lost. But let's not overlook the effort behind this behavior. Making plans requires vulnerability. It's an admission that they miss you and want you back in their life. For some, this might involve stepping out of their comfort zone, offering to participate in activities they once dismissed, or prioritizing time with you over other commitments. These actions speak volumes about the depth of their longing. Yet, as with any behavior rooted in emotion, it's essential to approach this with clarity. Why are they making these plans? Is it out of genuine desire to reconnect, or are they seeking to ease their own discomfort? Stoicism teaches us to assess situations objectively, focusing on what aligns with our values and well-being. Imagine the scenario. They've planned something thoughtful, like revisiting a place that holds special meaning for both of you. Their effort shows their willingness to invest in the connection, but it also reveals their hope that you'll reciprocate. It's a vulnerable step, one that reflects not just their longing but also their willingness to try again. Making plans to see you is one of the most direct ways they express how much they miss you. It's no longer about subtle gestures or quiet reflection. It's about taking concrete steps to bring you back into their life. From here, their actions may take an unexpected turn as they grapple with feelings of jealousy. Let's dive into this complex and revealing behavior next. 8. They show signs of jealousy. Jealousy is one of the most telling signs that someone misses you. It's an emotion that reveals itself when they see you moving forward, living your life, and perhaps sharing moments with others that they once shared with you. While jealousy can be uncomfortable to experience or witness, it's a clear signal of their longing and the fear of being replaced in your world. Picture this. You've posted a photo of yourself at a new restaurant with friends, or maybe you're laughing in a video shared from a fun outing. Suddenly they message you with something like, "Oh, I see you've been trying new places without me." The comment might be half joking, but the undertone of jealousy is undeniable. They're watching from a distance, feeling the sting of seeing you enjoy life without them. Epictetus teaches us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. For someone missing you, their reaction to your happiness is often colored by jealousy. This isn't because they don't want you to thrive, it's because your joy highlights their absence in your life. They see you smiling, creating new memories, and they can't help but feel left out. Jealousy often emerges in subtle ways. Perhaps they start asking pointed questions about who you've been spending time with, or make comments about things they've noticed on your social media. Sometimes it's even more passive. They might withdraw from liking your posts or engaging with you, as if to hide their discomfort. These behaviors are all rooted in the same fear, the fear that they're no longer an essential part of your life. But jealousy can also manifest in more direct ways. Have they suddenly started flaunting their own social life or sharing moments designed to make you notice? Maybe they're posting photos with new people or talking about exciting plans. While this might seem like they're moving on, it's often a calculated attempt to provoke a reaction from you, to see if you still care. In their mind, if they can make you feel jealous, it reaffirms their place in your thoughts. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's jealousy became apparent through their words or actions? How did it make you feel? Did it confirm their feelings for you, or did it create distance? If this resonates with you, share your experience in the comments below with the phrase "recognizing emotions." Your story might help others navigate similar situations. It's important to handle jealousy with wisdom and balance. Stoicism reminds us to stay composed and not let the emotions of others dictate our actions. While their jealousy may be a sign of how much they miss you, it's crucial to evaluate whether their feelings align with the boundaries and values you've set for yourself. As we've explored, jealousy is a deeply human reaction rooted in longing and fear. But it's not the only way they show they miss you. In fact, when jealousy fades, it often gives way to something even more profound: regret. Let's dive into how expressing regret reveals the depth of their feelings in the next part. 9. They express regret. Regret is one of the deepest and most revealing signs that someone misses you. That when they reflect on your absence, they're often forced to confront their past actions, words they wish they hadn't spoken, moments they wish they'd handled better, or opportunities to show care that they let slip away. Regret doesn't just whisper their longing for you, it shouts it, often louder than they'd like to admit. Imagine them sitting alone, scrolling through old messages or looking at photos of the two of you. That with each memory they feel a pang of what could have been. I should have been more understanding, or I wish I had appreciated them more. Regret becomes their companion, nudging them to realize how much they've lost. It's not a fleeting thought, but a persistent one, urging them to acknowledge the role they played in your absence. Epictetus captures this perfectly. We are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them. So their regret is born from the perspective they now have of the relationship, one that highlights its value in hindsight. That what they once took for granted is now seen through the lens of loss, and it's this clarity that fuels their desire to make amends. This expression of regret might come in the form of an apology, either directly or indirectly. They might say things like, "I've been thinking a lot about how I could have done things differently," or "I'm sorry for the way I handled things." So these words aren't just about seeking forgiveness, they're about acknowledging the depth of their emotions. Regret for them is both a burden and a bridge, a way to process their feelings and potentially reconnect with you. Sometimes, regret doesn't take the form of words but actions. Have you noticed someone trying to show you through gestures that they've changed? Perhaps they've started being more thoughtful, reaching out more consistently, or making an effort to show they care. These are all ways they try to express their regret without saying it outright. They hope their actions will speak louder than their words. However, regret isn't always communicated to you. Often it's something they grapple with internally. They replay scenarios in their mind, imagining how things could have been different. They think about the conversations they could have had, the support they could have given, or the effort they could have made. This internal reflection is a sign of just how much your absence has affected them. From a Stoic perspective, regret can be a powerful teacher. It forces a person to confront their own behavior and take responsibility for their actions. For the one experiencing it, regret is a mirror that reflects their shortcomings but also provides an opportunity for growth. As Seneca said, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Their regret is often the first step toward change. But for you, witnessing someone's regret brings its own questions. Do you accept their apology if offered? Do you let their actions speak for themselves? Or do you maintain the distance that allowed them to recognize their feelings in the first place? Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, our own reactions. While their regret might be a sign of how much they miss you, it's ultimately up to you to decide how to move forward. Regret is a powerful force, one that reveals the depth of someone's feelings for you. But sometimes their longing doesn't stop there. It drives them to change their behavior entirely. Let's explore how this transformation unfolds in the next part. 10. They change their behavior. So when someone truly misses you, regret and longing often lead to a noticeable shift in their behavior. They start to evaluate their actions, their priorities, and even their attitude. Missing you becomes a catalyst for transformation, pushing them to become a better version of themselves, not just for you, but also for their own growth. This change is one of the clearest signs of how deeply your absence has affected them. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. For someone who misses you, this realization often becomes their guiding principle. They stop making excuses for their past actions and start focusing on the things they can improve. Whether it's letting go of bad habits, adopting a more thoughtful approach to relationships, or simply being more consistent in their words and actions, their behavior begins to shift in ways that reflect their desire to reconnect with you. Consider this scenario. Someone who was once inattentive or distant in your relationship suddenly starts showing up in more meaningful ways. Perhaps they reach out with thoughtful gestures, take an active interest in things they used to dismiss, or even express a newfound willingness to address issues they previously avoided. These changes aren't random, they're deliberate actions driven by their longing to bridge the gap your absence has created. Have you noticed someone suddenly embracing qualities or behaviors you always wished that they had? Maybe they're now more communicative, patient, or present. These shifts often come after a period of self-reflection, where they've had to confront the consequences of their actions or inactions. Missing you has made them realize that if they want to be part of your life again, they need to show up differently. But change isn't always easy, nor is it instant. Stoicism teaches us that true transformation requires self-discipline and perseverance. As Epictetus wisely said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Their journey to becoming better isn't about quick fixes or superficial gestures. It's about developing the kind of character that aligns with the values they now recognize as important. It's worth noting that their changed behavior might extend beyond their relationship with you. Perhaps they've started improving other areas of their life, committing to personal goals, building healthier habits, or fostering deeper connections with others. These changes reflect a deeper understanding of what it means to live a fulfilling life, one that aligns with their newfound awareness of what they've lost in your absence. Yet, as promising as these changes may seem, Stoicism encourages us to approach them with clarity and discernment. Are these transformations genuine, or are they temporary efforts to win back your attention? True change is sustained over time and is often marked by consistency. It's essential to observe their actions carefully and assess whether their growth aligns with your own needs and boundaries. Their transformation might also bring up questions for you. Do you acknowledge their effort and give the connection another chance? Or do you maintain the distance that sparked this change in the first place? Stoicism reminds us to act with integrity and intention, focusing on what serves your peace and growth. While their changed behavior might be a testament to their longing, It's ultimately your decision whether or not to invite them back into your life. When someone changes their behavior because they miss you, it's a powerful reminder of your impact on them. Your absence has inspired them to grow, to reflect, and to strive for something better. But what if their longing takes a different form? Sometimes, instead of focusing inward, they try to get your attention outwardly by attempting to make you jealous. Let's explore this intriguing behavior next. 11. They try to make you jealous. Say when someone misses you but struggles to express it directly, their longing may manifest in unexpected ways, one of which is attempting to make you jealous. This behavior might seem counterproductive, even childish, but it reveals a deep emotional need for your attention. And it's their way of saying, "Notice me," without having to admit how much they miss you. Imagine this. They start posting pictures with new people, sharing stories about exciting events, or suddenly highlighting how much fun they're having. On the surface, it may look like they're moving on, but beneath the surface lies a more complex motivation. Their actions are less about their enjoyment and more about evoking a reaction from you. They're hoping to stir up feelings that will draw you back into their orbit. Stoicism encourages us to remain composed in the face of others' emotional strategies. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. If you sense that someone is trying to make you jealous, pause and reflect. Their behavior often speaks more about their internal struggles than it does about the situation itself. So why would someone resort to this? For many, jealousy feels like an indirect way of testing whether you still care. If they see even an hint of a reaction from you, whether it's a comment, a like, or a message, they interpret it as confirmation that they're still on your mind. It's a game of emotional chess, one they hope will end with you reaching out. Consider how jealousy might manifest in more subtle ways. Perhaps they casually mention someone new in conversation, or they bring up activities they know would catch your attention. These small, deliberate moves are designed to provoke curiosity and rekindle your interest. Even their humor might carry hints of this, jokingly suggesting, "I bet you're wondering who I've been spending time with." But while this behavior can be flattering, it also reveals a level of insecurity. By focusing on how you perceive them, they're seeking validation to soothe their own feelings of inadequacy or fear of being replaced. From a Stoic perspective, it's essential to recognize this dynamic without letting it unsettle your peace. Their actions are a reflection of their longing, not a call for you to abandon your boundaries. At its core, trying to make you jealous is an indirect form of communication. They're not just flaunting their life, they're signaling how much they want to be a part of yours again. Whether this behavior draws you closer or pushes you further away depends on how you choose to respond. Stoicism teaches us to act with intention and not let the emotions of others dictate our own actions. If you notice someone's efforts to evoke jealousy, take a step back and evaluate the situation. Are they reaching out in meaningful ways beyond these gestures? Or is this behavior masking deeper feelings they're unwilling to share directly? So while jealousy might be a sign of their longing, it's not a substitute for the vulnerability and honesty needed to rebuild a connection. Their attempts to make you jealous often mark the final stage of their efforts to regain your attention. Beyond this point lies a crossroads. Either they let their longing fade, or they channel their emotions into deeper reflection and growth. This leads us to the essence of what these behaviors mean. They miss you, and in missing you, they must also decide how to move forward. As we've explored, the signs that someone misses you are as varied as they are revealing. From regret and self-improvement to curiosity, jealousy, and vulnerability, each behavior reflects a piece of the emotional puzzle. Stoicism teaches us to recognize these actions not as manipulation but as a reflection of human nature, a reminder of how deeply your presence impacts others. But what do these behaviors mean for you? Ultimately, they highlight your worth. Your absence isn't just a void, it's a mirror that reveals to others what they value, what they regret, and what they long for. Whether you choose to reconnect or continue on your path of growth, remember that your actions should align with your own well-being and peace. Now it's your turn. Have you experienced any of these signs from someone in your life? Which of these behaviors resonated most with you? Share your thoughts in the comments with the phrase recognizing their longing. If this journey into Stoicism and relationships has offered you valuable insights, give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more. Together, let's continue exploring the profound dynamics of human connection and the power of self-awareness. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May your relationships be guided by wisdom, your choices by integrity, and your life by the principles of Stoicism. Until next time, stay strong, stay mindful, and remember, sometimes the most powerful way to be remembered is simply to step back and let your presence speak for itself.